Have you ever stopped to think how some biblical characters lived for centuries beyond? For example, would have lived an impressive 969 years in a world where living beyond 100 years is considered a rare feat. These ages seem impossible, but is there something deeper, a hidden mystery that explains this extraordinary longevity? Today we are going to dive between the lines of Scripture and find out if there are hidden spiritual truths beyond what is written. The Bible is one of the most ancient and mysterious texts that humanity has ever known. His stories, full of symbolism, defy our modern understanding. Among them is the question of the longevity of early humans. How could Adam have lived 930 years, or not 950 years? A common explanation among theologians is that these long lives were gifts from God, a divine reward for those who followed his commandments fervently. This longevity, according to the Bible, would be a sign of divine approval, a way of God showing his complacency with the righteous. But what if there was more than just a heavenly blessing behind these stories? What if, in fact, these numbers were not merely chronological nor symbolic? What if they represented not the length of a man's life, but the age of a clan, a people? Some scholars suggest that the longevity of the biblical patriarchs may be related to the environment in which they lived before the Great Flood. Earth was a different place, with climatic conditions that could have contributed to a longer life. The Bible mentions a canopy of water vapor that enveloped the planet, creating a protected, greenhouse-like environment where conditions were ideal for human life to thrive for centuries. But after the flood, this canopy would have disappeared, and along with it, protection from the sun's rays and other natural forces that accelerate aging. However, what is this fascinating theory like? There is no scientific evidence to support it. It makes us question, is the longevity of these characters literal? Or can it be a metaphor, a symbolic way of telling the story of the first peoples of the earth? Another intriguing explanation that few consider is the diet of biblical times. Some believe that early humans followed a predominantly vegetarian diet, which could have contributed to their longevity. After the flood, the diet changed and meat became part of the human diet, which, according to some, would have shortened life expectancy. But could the change in diet alone explain such a drastic drop in longevity? Or does the real answer lie in a combination of factors, including environmental change, diet, and perhaps even something deeper and more spiritual? Finally, there are those who believe that longevity mentioned in the Bible should not be taken literally. Some theorists suggest that the numbers may represent eras of clan rule or family lineages rather than the age of specific individuals. For example, when it is said that Adam lived 930 years, it could mean that Adam's lineage dominated for that period until it was succeeded by another. This also aligns with the idea that the counting of time in antiquity was different from ours. Instead of solar years, they could be counting lunar months, which would drastically alter the interpretation of the ages mentioned. Did the ancients have an understanding of time so different from ours that even their concepts of life and death were different from ours? Ultimately, the mystery of biblical longevity may never be fully solved. Perhaps it is a combination of physical and spiritual factors, or perhaps it is an encoded message for future generations. What we do know is that these stories continue to intrigue us and challenge us to think beyond the literal, to search for hidden meanings in ancient words. But the Bible is a book full of even deeper and more disturbing mysteries. If the longevity of the biblical patriarchs is already an enigma, what about the descriptions of angels, divine beings who, contrary to the popular image of beautiful and ethereal figures, are depicted with truly frightening appearances. Have you ever heard of angels with multiple faces, eyes all over their bodies, or flaming wheels? Get ready, because in the next video, we will explore the frightening appearances of angels according to the Bible. Until then, keep your mind open and your curiosity keen, because beyond the Bible, the mystery never ends.